How amazing is His love, the love of Jesus.
He is jealous for me. Love's like a hurricane. I am a tree bending beneath the weight of His wind and mercy. When all of a sudden I am unaware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory, I realize just how beautiful you are and how great your affections are for me. And oh, how He loves us so. Oh, how He loves us, how He loves us so.
and we're his portion. He's our prize, drawn to redemption by the grace in his eyes. If his grace is an ocean, we're all sinking. Oh, when heaven meets earth like a sloppy wet kiss, and my heart turns violently. I don't have to. The way that he loves us, oh, how he loves.
Greetings, everyone. Listen, thank you again for tuning in. I appreciate your love and your support. To my covenant partners, thank you so much. You're the driving force behind the vision that is embodied in For His Glory's Prophetic Ministries. You might be asking, what exactly is For His Glory Prophetic Ministries? It's simply the personal teaching, preaching, and outreach ministry of myself. We're in the process of transitioning from Delaware to Trenton, New Jersey. The Almighty has given us great plans to go into the communities and make some changes and help people become productive citizens in every area of their life, not just from a spiritual standpoint, but we want to see people's lives change and transform at whatever level. So For His Glory Ministry is just a ministry of action that goes out into the communities. We also provide teachings and trainings at all levels. We take the gospel from a practical standpoint. I did not seek the Almighty for deep teachings and profound words that leave people just like mesmerized. I don't want you mesmerized. I want the Almighty to give me practical principles that you can apply to your everyday life, that we begin to see change in every area of our lives. There's no need for us to prosper in one area and continue to struggle in others. I want us to be able to take the basic principles that we give you and for you to spread them throughout your entire life, share them with the people that you're connected to, and you guys begin to see change like never before. Email us. Let us know testimonies. If the ministry is blessing you, please email me. Let me know. In January, we'll be releasing our first edition of our newsletter. I would love to put testimonies in there. Let us know how the ministry has blessed you, the principles that you have applied to your personal life, and seeing the changes, not just that you desired, but the changes that have caused you to grow in the short period of time that we've been posting these teachings. As I said, today's teaching, I'm telling you, I believe today's teaching is going to bless you greater than any other teaching that we have done before. I encourage you today, and I usually do not do this, but I encourage you to purchase this CD, because these principles that the Almighty has given us, I believe that if we take them and apply them on a continuous basis, we will no longer experience lack. Our mentality will change, and we will change in the midst of our circumstances, which will eventually cause our circumstances to submit to the Almighty that's deep within inside of us, and we'll see the changes that we desire. But I believe that these principles have got to be listened to on a continuous basis. Now, you already know I do post the teachings for free for about a week or so. But after that, if you're interested in purchasing a CD or an MP3 downloadable copy, email me. As I said again, fhgpministries@gmail.com. Want to know more about the ministry? Check us out on Facebook. FHGP Ministries is what we are on Facebook. Is what we are on Facebook. And on Twitter, it's the same thing, @FHGP Ministries. The website was still having some complications. Prayerfully, we will be up by the middle of January, so be looking for that. But I want to dive into this teaching today because, like I said, I believe that these principles today are going to shake the very foundation of your life. This teaching is going to destroy some kingdoms that have been established, that have kept us stuck and wondering and lack and stagnation and just totally lost trying to understand how in the world did my situation get like this. Not that we're trying to pass the buck on anybody, because there are some of us that need to take responsibility for the state that we're in right now. Yes, circumstances and situations have happened that many times some were beyond our control. But there were some circumstances and situations that we controlled too much that have us where we are now. But some of us are looking and we're saying, I'm here now. I don't know what to do. It doesn't look like it's a possibility for my life to change at all. Is this the norm? Is this what I should expect? Is this my life? My great-grandmother's life was like this. My grandmother's life was like this. My mother's life was like this. My brothers and sisters' life is like this. Everybody in my family life was like this. Is this my lot? And I know that it can't be my lot because I keep hearing greater crying out on the inside of me. But the voice that speaks that this is it always cries louder than the voice that's crying deep within me that there is greater. Well, today we're going to speak to those areas of your life. We're going to silence those voices. We're going to destroy those kingdoms, and we're going to cause some dreams, talents, abilities, gifts, and visions to be resurrected on today. And this resurrection that's going to take place is not just a momentary resurrection, but this is a resurrection that's going to birth greatness into this next season and the seasons that are to come. We are about to enter a season of manifestation. I want to encourage you before we go into the teaching, because if our mentality doesn't change and the ground isn't tilled a little bit before we start the teaching, we won't receive the teaching because we said, I heard that before. I don't want you at the state of I heard that before. I want you to truly understand that we are entering a season of manifestation where the Almighty is going to separate. The wheat and the tare have grown together. Now he is about to separate the wheat and the tare. He's about to take the tare, bundle them together, and burn them. He's about to take the wheat and place them and make them a great example for those who are saying, I know you want me to serve your Elohim. I know you want me to come to your ministry, but I haven't seen much change in any of you guys' life. I watched you struggle more since you started, quote unquote, serving the Eternal. And for some of us, that may be true. And number one, we need to take responsibility because some of the struggles that we're in is because we did not listen to the direction of the Almighty or the prophetic instructions of our leader that would have pulled us out of some of the situations. Some of us, we attempted to solve situations and solve problems on our own, and all it did was lead us further into debt, further into trouble, and now we're stuck, and it looks like there's no way possible the pieces can be put back together or the situation can be resurrected. But we're going to go to Ezekiel chapter 37, and I guarantee you, in the midst of the teaching, the Almighty is going to start to resurrect. And by the end of the teaching, you are going to see changes manifest. I'm not talking about changes next month. I'm not talking about changes next year. I'm telling you, you're listening to this teaching. By the time you finish listening to the teaching, you need to start looking for your changes because it's going to take place hours, days, weeks, months, years. He is moving instantly because the Almighty wants to show you exactly who He is, but He also wants to show you who He's designed you to be because you have to come up as well. We got to come up. We got to come up in our expectation. We have to come up in our delivery. We have to come up in every area of our lives because He's calling us higher. And if He's calling us higher, there's greater requirements, and there's greater things to be done. But first, he's got to get us to the place to where we understand, oh, it's about to be resurrected. There's a lot of us facing a lot of noise in our lives. And I want you to know that there is life beyond the noise, but you must keep prophesying beyond it. You must keep believing past the noise. You cannot get focused on the noise and distracted by the noise, because if you get focused and distracted by the noise, you will never reach your full potential in the eternal, and that's not what he desires. Listen, I'm going to get to the scripture, because if not, I'm going to be way ahead of myself, but I want to get to this scripture because I want us to understand our lives are not about to change. As I am speaking prophetically, your life is changing. Scales are being removed. Blinders are being removed. You're able to hear and see truth even greater. Everything that's been a hindrance and a stumbling block, now you're going to be able to see it, and you're going to be able to step over it. You're going to be able to speak to the mountain and it be removed. You are about to experience the greatest breakthrough, the greatest deliverance, the greatest healing, the greatest wholeness in your life that you have ever experienced. This encounter from this teaching is going to not just change your life, but it's going to change the very atmosphere of your home. It's going to change the atmosphere of your family. It's going to change the atmosphere on your job. It's going to change the atmosphere of your ministry. From this, you will experience growth in every area. And I know that I'm telling the truth. If you will take this teaching, grab hold of it, let it cultivate in your spirit, let it begin to tear down the very walls and kingdoms that you allow to be built, you will see this manifest. I know that the testimonies are going to come. I know it because I know what the Almighty told me He's going to do. It has nothing to do with me, but there's going to be testimonies even in my life, because this teaching was for me. He took me back to what He originally called me to do. This was the first scripture He took me to when He called me. And to be honest, I got distracted by the noise. And because I got distracted by the noise, I was not effectively doing Ezekiel 37. I wasn't doing it to others that He had placed in my life, and I wasn't doing it in my own personal life. But He reminded me 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, He said, a woman of God, to remind me exactly what He called me to do. So today, I want you to know that I'm prophesying. I'm decreeing and declaring that your life is changing now. Drug addiction is being destroyed. Alcoholism is smashed now. Everything, addictions, the nicotine is being destroyed. Tormenting spirits, I command you to loose the Almighty's people and let them go. Let their minds go now. You will not torture and torment them anymore. You will not torture them in their sleep. You will not torture them while they're awake. Suicide, you are smashed and destroyed now. There is life. I'm breathing into every situation. I prophetically breathe life now. Every destructive plan and assignment of the enemy set against the structure of families is destroyed right now in the name of Yeshua. I decree it now. I decree it now. I decree it. I command you to be released now from the prison that you put yourself in. I command the shackles to be released now off of your hands, off of your wrists, off of your legs now. You will be able to lift your hands and give the Almighty glory. You will be able to walk. You will be able to run. You will be able to do everything that the Almighty has called you to do. You will be able to do it. And I'm not talking about a futuristic thing, but I decree it right now. Begin to dream again. Begin to write again. Begin to sing again. Begin to preach again. Begin to teach again. Begin to prophesy again. Begin to mentor again. Begin to do everything the Almighty has called you to do, because today life has come back to your situation. Life has come back to your spirit. Ora la bashe ki andara ya se ki ando lo woshe bebe yando la kando mama mama se ki ande de yando yeko mama bashe ki ando leko mama mama se. Now I command you to rise. Sheki ando I don't care what they said about you. I don't care what they think about you. I don't even care what you think about yourself. You better hear what the Almighty is saying concerning you and learn to silence your own voice. You're greater than what you're giving yourself. You're greater than what you're submitting to. Get up and fight. Get up and fight. Make the choice today that I'm going to fight beyond my emotional state. I'm going to fight beyond how I feel right now. I'm going to fight beyond what I feel about myself, what others feel about me. I'm going to fight because the Almighty said that He has put greater in me. He is greater in me than he that is within the world. So I'm going to fight off of His words. Let's get to Ezekiel because y'all get me excited. He said, with the hand of Adonai upon me, Adonai carried me out by His Spirit and set me down in the middle of the valley, and it was full of bones. What I like about this situation, because I know that there's many of you listening right now. Now, I know my ministry is not called to a lot of people. A lot of people won't listen, but there are some of you that are hanging on right now because you understand that this message, your life depends upon it. Your ministry depends upon this, because right now you got some situations that have died and decayed, and they're in the state that the only thing that is left is bones. And those bones have scattered all over the place. But He sent me here today. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Let's go to verse 2. He had me pass by all around them. There were so many bones living in the valley, and they were very dry. They weren't just bones, they were dry. Anytime something is dry, that means it has no use whatsoever. So they were in a state of dead, decayed, and dry. The 3 Ds, dead, decayed, and dry. And verse 3, He asked me, human being, He's saying to you today, I don't know what your name is, but He's saying to you today, can these bones live? Now notice He did not say, human being, can these people live? Can these situations live? He wanted to know, in the state that they're in right now, because see, what you have to understand is, He's not going to just prophesy to what it's going to be. He's going to prophesy to it in the state that it's in and required to come up to where He's called it to be. Now, can these bones live? He said, I answered, Adonai Elohim, only you know that. See, he understood. I can't put my faith in myself on this one. I done tried it before, and we all are there. We have pieces of our lives right now that may feel fragmented. There may have been a great drop. There may have been a rape or molestation situation. There may be a death that's taking place that we're not transitioning very well, so we feel fragmented in areas. And we're going and we're picking up this fragment over here, and we're trying to connect it with this fragment here, because it looks like those are the two that should go together. But then as we're trying to put these two together, they're not connected, and we're just making matters even worse. So we go back and we get another fragment. We're trying to put that fragment with this one and trying to connect that one with this one. But it seems like the more that we try to connect fragments together, we become more fragmented, because now we're tearing apart pieces of us that are whole, trying to connect them to pieces that are already broken. So in the midst of us trying to put everything back together, we end up making it worse than it was in the beginning. Now, if that's not you, I understand, but I know that there are some people out there that have attempted to put some things back together. You've attempted to work some things out. You've attempted to go get loans to pay for your mortgage or pay for something that's far behind, and now you have yourself in further debt than you were when you originally started, and now you're just sitting there and you're like, what more can I do? And it may not be from a financial standpoint, it may be from a spiritual, it may be from an emotional standpoint. Whatever the standpoint is that is from, we have to understand we don't have the ability to put it back together. Ezekiel understood If these bones can live, I don't have the authority. I don't have the ability to do it. I am only a created, I guess you could say, a being or a created object that was created by the Creator. The Creator is the only one that can put those things back together because he's the one that created us. So he knows what to link up together. And he's the only one that can look at it and see, wait a minute, that piece of the puzzle does not look like it goes with that piece of the puzzle, but that's exactly where it goes. And he can link the two that look like they don't look like they're supposed to be connected. And by the time he finishes connecting them, they fit perfectly. If we try to do it, we're going to have to use super glue. We're going to try to use something to tie some things up. And then we'd have created another soul tie. We're taking pieces, trying to fuse them together and tie them together. And now we've created another soul tie that now he's going to have to come and break. So what we have to do is throw our hands up like Ezekiel and say, listen, Master, only you know whether or not these things have the ability to live once again. So I want to encourage you, while you're at that very state right now, while we're here, while we're stuck right here at verse number 3, put it in the Almighty's hands. You cannot do it in and of yourself. That does not mean that you are a weak individual, but it shows just how strong you are because you understand that there were some things that are far beyond your ability, far beyond your talent, far beyond your mindset. And he says, oh, his ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. They're higher than ours. So there are situations in our lives that call for the state of who he is. Give it to him. Right now, saying, Father, I submit it to you right now. Do what only you can do. I cannot connect these pieces back together. I've attempted to resurrect it before, and I just can't do it. Father, I give up, not give up in the sense that I'm not going to fight anymore, but I give up fighting your will, fighting your process, fighting what you have designed, and I submit to your will. And if this situation does have life in it, thou knowest. You know, Father, and I put it in your hands. Verse number 4. Then he said to me, now to put it in his hands, now listen to what happens. After we put it in his hands, he says to us, prophesy over these bones. Say to them, dry bones, hear what Adonai has to say. It doesn't say hear what Cliff has to say. It doesn't say hear what anybody, any of you, I have put your name in there. It says hear what Adonai, hear what the Eternal One, hear what the Creator has to say. He did not attempt to do it in and of himself. He understood he did not possess the ability to do it, but he understood that he that had created him had the ability to do whatever he decided to do in that situation. So he told him, he said, prophesy to these bones. Now listen to how he told him to prophesy, because I like this translation. Some translations say prophesy to these bones. But this one says prophesy over these bones. Some translations say upon. I like the translations that say upon and over, because in order for me to prophesy over or upon, now I have to come up. I have to step my game up. I have to raise my perspective level, because if I stay on the same level of it, I'm going to speak to it, which is going to give it an opportunity to speak back to me, because now I'm looking at it in the same state, and it's going to speak to me from the state that we're both in. And if it speaks to me from the state that we're both in, then doubt, fear, apprehensions don't come in. Come on now, we already know this is where many of us are at. This is why our circumstance has not changed. We've been prophesying to our kids. We've been prophesying to our finances. We've been prophesying to our family. We've been prophesying to our friends. We have not prophesied upon or over them from a different perspective and begin to speak what the Almighty says. Now that commands that situation to come up to match the level that the Almighty has drawn us to. But if we're trying to prophesy to them, we're not going to get there, because they're going to be able to minister to us because our perspective, our viewpoint is the same. So they prophesy upon. So Here, stepping our game up. Number 5 says, verse 5, to these bones, Adonai Elohim says, I will make breath enter you, and you will live. There's still bones, and he's talking about prophesying breath to them as if the situation is already to a place where naturally breath could enter. We know naturally breath cannot enter bones and it be effective at all because there's outer layers of the body that must go on the bones in order for the breath to enter them and for them to be able to live. But he said, I'm going to breathe. And what I love about it, when the Almighty breathes, the Ruach breathes into your life, it transcends every level of your life and gets right down to the bones. It gets right down to the very root of the thing. And when it breathes into your body and breathes to the depth of your bones, I don't care what you're going through. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what people might say. I don't care what you may feel at that moment. You will be quickened in the midst of the spirit because it's down on the very inside of you. It is rooted inside of you. So no matter how much you might want to fight it, it's going to come out. Jeremiah said, I ought not to say nothing else. I don't plan on saying nothing else. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of it. But he said, oh Lord, I'm trying to keep myself together. He said, it's just like fire shot up in my bones. And that's what happens when the Ruach, when the Holy Spirit breathes into your situation and breathes into it down to the very bones. You need to understand this is what's going on right now. The Holy Spirit is doing this very thing right now. He's breathing into your bones. He's breathing into that situation right now. And that situation must change and must change for the better regardless of what has been spoken, what it looks like in the environment. All right, so where we at? Whew, oh man. As I said, he addressed it as if it was already complete. Told you his mind ain't even like ours. We sitting up worrying about gas money, this month's rent. These things are real to us. Healing in our body, a struggle we have, and he's saying, I'm just trying to make you whole. Because if I can make you whole, you don't have to worry about those things because now you can unlock those the treasures. You can unlock the power, the ability, the gifts inside of you that causes wealth to come in every area of your life. So while you're worrying about a small solution, I'm trying to give you a major solution that changes not just your life, not just your family, not just your community, but nations from your very mouth and from the very life that you live. All right, verse number 6. I will attach ligaments to you. Let's stop there. Ligaments, right? Some translation says, I believe it's the word is sinew, S-I-N-E-W. Let's look at the definition of that. Now, I want you guys to hear me on the definition of these three things that I'm getting ready to give you. It's going to be definition of ligaments, or sinew is the first one we're going to deal with. We know from the very basic translation or basic definition, it's a piece of tough, fibrous tissue which unites muscles to bones and bone to muscle. So he's starting to cover some things up in the midst of your life. He's starting to bring back life to the situation so that you can begin to see that he's doing this thing. But if you keep going further to translate ligaments or sinew, you get to a place where it says vigorous strength. So what he's saying, he is going to strengthen you, strengthen your situation in him. Not a strength where you rely in and of yourself, but a vigorous strength, a strength that's beyond belief, a strength that's beyond understanding. He's going to place that inside of you, inside of your situation, inside of everything that concerns you, inside of everything that's associated with you. He's going to build it up, strengthen it, so that it's ready for the battle that's going to come after the resurrection, because you need to understand, after this situation, there is a battle that's coming. But because our mindset is changing, because he breathed breath back into the situation, we're going to understand that there's a different approach that we can take. And when we take this approach, our life is changed, others' lives are changed. So number one, he's given us vigorous strength. Then he said, I will attach ligament to you. That was number one, the vigorous strength. Number two, I will make flesh grow on you. Flesh. Now, we know in our flesh dwell no good thing. That's a reality of it. But I want you to listen to the definition that he took me to with flesh, because this is what he's doing with your situation. Substance. He's going to put substance in your situation. There's a lot of people that have a very loud or boisterous personality, and they can become the very highlight or of the room. And they come in and everybody knows it's them. Many of them, a lot of times, this is not always the case, but they are viewed as the life of the party and different things like that. But then there are some people that are quiet. And the reason why they're quiet is because they study. They're doing a lot of study. They're studying people. They're studying things. And when they speak, sometimes they blow your mind because it becomes so profound what they're saying, because you wouldn't expect that from them because they're so quiet. See, they're not just firecrackers, but they have substance. A firecracker goes up, it's very pretty for that moment, but it fizzes out and there's nothing there. But when you find an individual with substance, even when trials come, when tribulations come, when hard times come, they have something that they can pull back on that will keep them rooted and grounded in the Almighty. That's the substance he's birthing in your situation. He's breathing this into your situation right now. And many of us, the reason why this substance can come, because now we're in situations where we have nothing and nobody left but the Almighty. So we can't lean and depend on anybody else but him. And that's how he had to do it in order for him to be able to breathe in the situation, because he wanted it where nobody else could get the glory, even ourselves. Because, sometimes we like to take the glory. We might not act like we do, but we do sometimes. We ignorantly have taken glory that ultimately should be his. So he puts us in situations where now the substance that lies within us came from him. So first, he said ligaments. I'm going to strengthen you. Number two, flesh. I'm going to give you substance. And this part of the flesh, too, there's two definitions of flesh. This second one is for those of you that are out there that had the same mentality as me when he first started dealing with me. I'd have heard this message before. The Almighty said he was bringing me out before. He said he was going to bless me before. He said he was going to do this before, and it hasn't manifested yet. Listen at the second definition of flesh that he gave us. Reality. So I'm going to strengthen you. I'm going to put substance in you, and I'm going to make your situation a reality. Now it's about to manifest. You may have thought that it should have manifested last season, last year, 2 years ago, but I want you to know that right now, this is what the Almighty is saying, I'm about to make this thing a reality for you so that you will know who I am and who you belong to and who you are in me. It's about to be a reality. Understand, it is about to be a reality. And I'm not talking about the reality we see on TV, because we know that some of those reality shows are nothing but stage reality. That's not the reality of the Almighty. So he's about to make it a reality. And then the last part he says, and I will cover you with skin. That's number 3. He said, I'm going to cover you with skin. So I'm going to strengthen you. I'm going to put substance in you. I'm going to make this thing a reality. And then the skin, it talks about the skin covering your vertebrae. Your vertebrae are your backbone. So I'm going to put a stance in you, and then I'm going to cover it so that you'll be able to stand, because your backbone helps you stand. So I'm going to cover you and allow you to stand, that even when all hell seems to be breaking loose, there's still a stance in you, because I have you covered. I have you covered now. You're covered with strength. You're covered with substance. You're covered with reality. And you're covered now. Your backbone is covered so you can stand boldly. And the authority that I have given unto you, this is what he's doing with our situation. Listen, then it says, and I will put breath or life in you. You will live and you will know that I am Adonai. He's doing all of this so that we become familiar with who he really is, because he wants to give us a fresh experience of who he is. Because some of us haven't experienced him in a long time. Yes, we know how to go through the motions. Yes, we know the right thing to say. We know the right thing to do. We know all of that. But we haven't had a fresh encounter with him. This time when he gives you a fresh encounter, keep building off of it. Let it become from a personal relationship standpoint. And not just a personal relationship where we just do enough, but let's do greater. Let's seek to study more. Let's seek to seek his face more. Let's seek to minister to other individuals more. Let's seek to find out what we can do in our home assemblies, our home churches even more, to please him, to bring glory to him, to bring honor to him, so that we don't find ourselves in this state once again. Verse number 7. So I prophesy. Now here is where I want us to get to as well. I'm almost finished. But here's where I want us to get to as well, because some of us get to this state, and this is the state. Like I said earlier, there's life beyond the noise, but we got to keep prophesying. This is where we get stuck at sometimes. Verse 7. So I prophesied as I was ordered, and while I prophesied, there was a noise and a rattling sound. I want you to understand, you can't afford, to get distracted by the noise. Noise is going to come. Let's look at the definition of noise. And then we're going to look at the definition of a rattling sound. A noise is a sound that is loud, unpleasant, unexpected, and undesired. How many have been prophesying, or doing what the Almighty told you to do? You've been believing, you've been confessing over your situation, and then in the midst of you confessing over the situation, you are hit. You're hit with something unpleasant, you're hit with something unexpected, you're hit with something undesired. Now my question is, what do you do then? Now let's look at what the rattling sound is. It talks about it being a series of short, knocking sounds. Sometimes, them things hit you hard back to back, real short. But it said that it is sent to irritate you. My question is, can we prophesy? Can we do what the Almighty has called us to do beyond the irritation? And somebody says, oh, yes, I can. But does your irritation influence your ability to minister? Does it influence? Is that what's prolonging our season? Is that the attachment that has us in the state that we're in now? Because I want you to look what he did through the noise, because I want us to not be distracted by the noise. Whether it's the noise of people talking about you, it's the noise of your finances being hit, whatever the noise may be, there is a reality that there are things that are going to hit our life, and they're going to hit us hard. But we must maintain a focus. And I'm not telling you nothing that I haven't experienced in my own life. I'm not coming to you with no experience. I'm not coming to you where everything in my life is cookies and cream, because this message hit me first and let me know you got to pick the ball back up. So I want you to look at what he does, because I want you to see what the noise and the rattling sound actually did. Because see, sometimes we get distracted by the noise and we think the noise is judgment. We think the noise is the Almighty is mad with us. We think the noise is this is how it's going to be for the rest of my life. We think the noise is winning. We think the noise, whatever we may think the noise is, I want you to see that the noise is not what we think it is. It's not what we think it is. Look what happened with the noise. It says, so I prophesied I was ordered, and while I was prophesying, there was a noise and a rattling sound. Keep in mind, those things are unpleasant. They set to irritate you, but look what it did. It was the bones coming together, each bone in its proper place. Look what the noise did. The Almighty took chaos, a chaotic situation, and he used it for his glory to align some things properly and restructure the things back to the way that they were supposed to be, to stand them up and get them where he needed them to be, for him to add that which he needed to add to them. So my question is, have we been so distracted by the noise that we haven't seen the positive, productive results from the noise? Let me tell you what the noise does. Number one, the noise brings about proper order. Some of our lives lack order. And even if we have order in some areas, we let it rip in other areas. So he has to cause noise to rein us back in. It brings structure. It helps us set priorities. Because sometimes our priorities are off whack. Our priorities are based off of our emotions. Whatever we feel at that moment, that's what becomes a priority. All right? So that's number two. Number three, it aligns some things in our life. It aligns some people in our life. It aligns us with purpose and destiny to get us back on track so that the Almighty can do what he desires to do. So it's for alignment. So it's for order, structure, alignment. So we can't be distracted by it because it's essential for the resurrection. It is essential for the resurrection. Verse number 8. He said, and I watched ligaments grew. As I watched, ligaments grew on them. Flesh appeared and skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. Many of us have gotten to this state where the bones have come back together and it starts to look like we're about to see a brighter day. But still there's no breath there. So instead of us seeking the Almighty about what's next, we get distracted because we feel like he's teasing us. And some of us have that drop syndrome. Like whether we grew up with a father that said, I'm going to come by and get you, and he didn't show up, we think the Almighty is going to treat us the same way. We think he's a psych Almighty sometimes. Psych, I'm going to give you this, psych, I'm going to give you that. But that's not it. He just wants you not to get distracted and seek him about what's next. Because Elohim is an L of order. He's about order. Before you can stand and he breathes, he must fortify you in the situation. And what did the definitions tell us earlier that he was doing in our situation? He was strengthening us, giving us substance, making it a reality, and giving us the ability to stand where we are covered. That was fortification. He's fortifying us, and he's fortifying our situation. He had to do that in order to breathe. He could not breathe. He could have because he's awesome. He's the great one. But him breathing to us in a state where we're laid down would just make us be comfortable. And we would lay right there. But he had to resurrect those bones and had those bones stand. Isn't it amazing that them bones could come together and stand without anything? That's just amazing to me. Okay, so he said, verse number 9. Next he said to me, prophesy to the breath. And this is the part that I really want us to get to, because I want us to, there's 4 areas that he's about to breathe in the midst of our lives. These are going to be essential for us. I want to hear the testimonies, because I said the Almighty is really going to do these. You need this CD, you need to go ahead and purchase. I don't charge a lot for CDs, but you need to purchase this CD, listen to it, get it in your spirit over and over again. Sow a CD into somebody's life that you believe this will bless, because I know that this word is a blessing. I'm going to listen to it over and over because it's blessing me. Even in teaching it, it's blessing me even the more, because the Almighty is awesome. The revelation he'll give sometimes, like I said, it's not deep, it's not profound, it's not any of those things, but it blesses me because it helps me know, oh man, we on our way, y'all. We are on our way. We are on our way. So he said, next he said to me, prophesy to the breast. Prophesy, human being. Say to the breast that Adonai says, come from the 4 winds, breath, and breathe on these slings so they can live. He hit 4 areas that prophesy to the 4 winds. Here are the 4 winds of your. The four winds of your life that the Almighty is about to breathe on. And here they are. Number one, he said, I'm about to breathe into your spirit, man. I'm about to breathe into you spiritually. I'm about to resurrect your spirit, man. It's been dry. It's been as if I keep hitting and missing. I hit and miss. I only hear him sporadically. I don't hear him to the degree that I used to hear him. He said, I'm about to ignite that a part of your relationship. He said he's about to stir himself so much inside of us that we'll know that it's him speaking once again. We won't be able to doubt. We won't be able to fear anymore concerning whether it's him or not speaking. We will know without a shadow of a doubt that it is him speaking, and we will move accordingly. He says about to build your spirit man back up. He said you're going to find yourself praying in the spirit even the more. Don't think that's strange, but understand he's building you up for a purpose. There's a great mandate that he is about to release in each and every one of your lives that needs that spirit man built up. He's about to stir up. He's about to stir up each gift that's in your life. Many have given up on the gifts that are in their lives, but he is about to bring those gifts back to life. Don't sleep on the gifts that he's placed inside of you. If you used to be a dreamer, you're about to dream again. If you used to prophesy, you're about to prophesy like you never prophesied before. If you're a preacher, you're about to preach like you've never preached before. Teacher, you're about to teach and expound on his word like you never had before. If you are a harvester, you are about to be led and directed to individuals, to bring into the kingdom of the Almighty like never before. Evangelists, you are about to evangelize. You are about to release healing. You're about to release deliverance. You are about to bring forth prophetic words like you never had before. Apostle, you are about to lay foundation, speak to structure, speak order. You are about to expand and enlarge like never before. Pastor, you are about to cover more than you've ever covered before. You are about to impart. You are about to experience a great move and great increase in the midst of your vision. Be encouraged. Don't get discouraged, but understand that everything that happened had to happen in order for this resurrection to take place. Understand that you need to strengthen and feed your spirit man like you've never done it before, because there is a great purpose, there's a great harvest that is out there, and it's waiting for you to stand up in the spirit and do what you need to do. War like you never warred before. Intercede like you never interceded before. Seek the Almighty like you never had before. The first wind that the Ruach is breathing in is your spirit man. Number two, your emotions. He's about to bring a balance to your emotions. He's not going to allow them to be all over the place. No longer will your ministry be affected by it. No longer will your life be affected by your unbalanced emotions. But he's bringing in your emotions. He's about to go deep inside and heal you emotionally. He's going to go to the pains that hurt and taunt you the most. He's going to go to that closet that you've locked everything and everybody out of, and he's going to go there, and no longer will you have to live in shame. No longer will you have to live in guilt, because he's going to bring those things to the light for you, and he's going to heal you of those things, because there is somebody out there that's going through the same thing that you're going through, that's going to need that emotional healing, that you can't minister that to them until you experience that yourself. Because there is healing that he's going to do emotionally. He's going to wrap his arms around you and show you love like he's never shown you before. You're broken, you're hurt, you're searching, and watch what he's going to do for you emotionally right now. No pill is going to be able to do it. No bottle is going to be able to do it. No needle is going to be able to do it. Nothing, no man's going to be able to do it. No woman's going to be able to do it. But he is going to show you who you are emotionally. He's going to call you to stand and be a mighty battle axe, a mighty weapon of war. You watch what he is about to do for you and through you in this season. Number three, physically. You're out there, you're sick. You haven't told anybody. I don't care what the disease is. The Almighty is a healer. He is a healer. And if you want healing, you can be healed. I can pray with you. If you need prayer in any of these areas, contact me. I will pray. We will touch and agree with you, and we will believe the Almighty for you. But I guarantee you, if you buy this CD, you listen to this CD, you listen to it, I guarantee you, your healing will come out of this, because this is a prophetic teaching. It's not because of who I am. It's because of who I am in Him, but it's because of what the Almighty designed this teaching for. You will experience the healing you need here. Now, you need to discipline your life. If your diet needs to change for the healing to manifest, change your diet. Change your diet. Change everything that you normally do. Speak to your life. Prophesy over your life. Begin to believe the Almighty like you never have before. And healing will manifest not a long time from now, but instantly. You will see progress. You will see complete healing. Your eyes will be open. Your ears will be open. Whatever it is that you need from the Almighty physically, He's going to do it. And the last breath that He said He was sending, number 4, was economically. He is going to allow us to prosper financially, but we cannot lose our mind. We must remember we need to tithe and sow faithfully. We must remember we must be good stewards of it. We do not need to go out and create extra bills. We got some things we need to clean up. He's going to cause debt to be canceled. He's going to cause debt to be decreased. But we got to stop ducking the creditors. And we got to stop creating unnecessary bills. He wants to give us wisdom in the exchange of business as well. He doesn't want us trying to live above our means. He wants us to be willing to sow into ministry so that He can bless us and we live comfortably. And then eventually, as we continue to build and stock up, then we can start to, as our means expand, then our lifestyle can expand. But He wants us to use principles to get us out of this situation. Some things He's not going to cancel. There are some things that He is going to require us to pay, if not the whole thing, a portion of it. But you need to start talking to the people, be honest with them, even repent of the time that you lied, repent of the time that you have made promises to pay, been there, and knew you weren't going to pay, or promises to pay, and then something came and you weren't able to pay, but you did not go back to them. Repent of that. Repent of the time when your stewardship was not where it needed to be. Repent of the time where He was trying to stretch you in your giving. And I'm not talking about giving bill money because you need to pay your bills, but I'm talking about when your bill is $2,000 and you got $20 in your pocket and you're talking about you holding on that for your bill. No, baby, that's a seed. If it does not meet a need, it's a seed. And we need to distinguish between needs and wants, because sometimes we're holding on to things for our wants versus our needs. And the way that we're going to get out in this season, my former apostle said all the time, give your way out of it, give your way out of it. My husband now is a sower. He will sow, and I've always been a sower as well. He's always been a sower. And we understand we're in situations now where we need the Almighty to move, and He's moving. Or He's moving because we sow. Because we sow. We understand that the only way that we're going to get out of this situation that we're in is that we sow ourselves out of it. Because nobody else can bring us out. No one else can give us the desired results that we have but the Almighty. And we must sow our way out of it. And we're willing to sow our way out of it because we have plans, and we understand that in order for those plans to come together, we have to put them in the hands of the Almighty. So that's the 4 areas, the 4 breaths that He's sending in your life today, that you are going to see an instant change, an instant manifestation in, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and economically. You are about to see the Ruach breathe in every area. Now, I want to tell you, get out of the Ruach's way. Get out of the Holy Spirit's way, because as long as you stay in the way and you won't allow Him in certain areas, you're not going to experience the fullness of it. We know that there are areas that we do not allow the Almighty in. That needs to be torn down now. That's a kingdom. Kill that kingdom. Kill it. Because as long as you won't allow Him in, you're going to keep circling the same mountain. You're going to keep going through the same situation. You're going to find yourself right back here again, and you're going to wonder, why am I here? Because you did not allow the Almighty in that area of your life. Give the Ruach control in your spirit man, your emotions, your physical body and your money, your guap, your economically giving. I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about the business side of it, everything that embodies anything dealing with economics. And you watch what he did. So it says, verse 10 says, so I prophesied as he ordered, and the breath came into them, and they were alive. They were alive. They were vibrant. And you remember when we first started reading, they were dry. They were scattered and they were dry. Now look at what they are now, because he allowed the Ruach to speak in every area. And they stood up on their feet, a huge army. Army represents strength, it represents defense, it represents order, it represents structure, it represents everything that your resurrected situation is representing in your life. Before the Almighty moved and had us prophesy to our situation, which is total chaos. Now an army stands. It's went from chaos to order, just like that. And that's what he's doing in the midst of your life. I encourage you, as I said, listen to this teaching. Let it get in your spirit. Watch the Almighty do some things and change some things in your life. Submit and commit to him even greater than you ever had before in this season. Some of you are waiting for January to hit. We celebrate our New Year's according to the Jewish calendar, so we've already had our New Year's. I don't want you to wait till January to hit. I want you to understand today, you're listening to this teaching today, your life is changing right now. It is changing right now. All you need to do is receive it, believe it, speak over yourself, submit to the Almighty, allow the Ruach to do what he needs to do in the midst of your life, and watch what happens. Watch. And don't forget to tell the testimonies. We have a Facebook page. We have a Twitter. The website will be up next month. I need to hear testimonies. Or if you need to email me the testimony, email me the testimonies. Let us know that these teachings are blessing you. Let us know that the Almighty is doing things. You need a job. This is the season. Listen to this teaching and then go back out and search for the job that you desire, that fits into the ministry that the Almighty has called you to. Don't just settle no more. You done settled long enough. Listen, I don't care what your record is. I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it. Submit to him and watch him use you to do great things that you never imagined yourself being able to do. Thank you again for listening. I pray that Elohim bless you. I pray that there's testimonies established from this, not just in your life, but in the lives of people that are connected with you. I pray you get excited. I pray you run wild with the vision of your leader, and you begin to see things change like never before. Elohim bless you. Thank you again.